Hey, Wildcard, I got to check out your congratulations on an interview you just had. I got to check that out, man.
Oh, that was a fun one. That guy's interesting.
Cool.
He does a pretty cool one where he was telling me about that he gets a bunch of people, like they just did this one. It's like him and two other guys, and then they have like two or three other guests, and they're like big name guests. I can't remember who was on the last episode, but they were like somebody from Dark Funeral, I think. Maybe not. Maybe he was just telling me. He told me about several interviews, but it was like Mark Briety was one of the guys that was on this one. They do like a round table, and they're all drinking like craft beer, and they talk about like 5 specific records and 5 specific beers. It was really interesting.
Wow.
But yeah, that guy has an interesting. He kind of just lets you run with it because, you know, like he doesn't try to force in any questions. You can tell. You watch the interview, and you'll see me take the reins and go, and he just listens. You know, like he doesn't be like, hey, well, you know, if he hears something that he wants to elaborate on, he just lets the guests run with it. I thought that was pretty interesting. You know, super loosely structured, if you will. But that was
Great,
pretty
man.
cool.
I look forward to checking it out. Cool.
Yeah, he allowed me to elaborate on some interesting things that I hadn't been able to in previous interviews. So that was pretty neat.
Yeah, you're going to be bored when you come to us, you know. But
I want to play those games, man. You guys started doing all the cool shit after you had me.
What we're doing
games. We were critiquing your album. We weren't really interviewing you so much when you were on. So a little different format there.
Yeah, we
roasted you.
Volcano's coming on. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, hopefully everybody actually shows up. That'll be good.
Yeah, if not, they're in trouble.
Then I'll
so they had all these big
myself.
names on this show. Then what were you doing on there?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, we had a fun episode.
Yeah, I wanted to do that, but 3 episodes is too much for me, man. You guys got too much stamina. I'm not quite able to keep up with that.
What?
Sundays?
Oh, it's about the PDE?
Yeah, weekends are rough for me. I started work on Mondays and Fridays, so I lose like 2 of my house chore days. So I started doing shit on the weekends now, and my time's all fucked up right now. So that's just the way it is.
Just got medium dick energy now.
I still got it. It's just that it's tired.
It's only during the week. It's tired dick energy.
It's big but flaccid.
Yeah. Squint eye energy. Dude, I want to do that. I love that concept. I've been talking to James LaRue about doing a cryptid
for Wizards of
Gore. A cryptid album.
About that. Yeah, we can totally do that. Hey, David, how's it going, man?
Hello, gentlemen. How you doing?
Doing well, man. How about yourself?
Oh, you know, as good as I can in the pseudo apocalypse.
All right. Yeah.
In these uncertain times, as they say.
Well,
you're looking handsome, though.
Yes, I am. Oh, you meant David. Yes.
I was looking at you too.
Thank you.
Oh boy,
see you guys.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Don't compliment him.
Don't make him show you his weird like picture of him sprawled out on a bed with no shirt.
What's weird about that?
Exactly. Thank you, David.
Costanza
the shirt wasn't the only thing I had off, Vic. I was totally nude, baby.
I'm glad that I haven't seen that picture from anything besides the waist up.
I'm sending one to David after the show.
Sounds
good. Way to burn bridges.
Can I get your autograph, David?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can
sign my nude photo.
I'm gonna set up a better light here so I can look a little more handsome.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, who's that guy?
There we go. All right, cool.
Nice.
Are we recording?
We are.
What are we doing here?
Yeah,
he goes through a deal. He's got to do his spiel. He's got an intro he does.
Yeah, we're gonna do all of our intro and then we'll get on. But now we're just hanging out and chatting. But I record everything and then I can always edit stuff. So if you got something you want to say you don't want in the show, then I can always edit it out.
If you want to say the word poopy, you just go ahead and we'll just get rid of that before it airs.
Sounds good. Yeah, I've got about an hour. I don't know how long you guys want to go, but
well, we better get
that'll
busy
work.
then,
then we better get to work.
Fine.
Yeah,
we
can do that. We'll get
we are here at your pleasure, sir.
Yeah, so we appreciate you showing up, man. So, all right, well, let's get
do your cheesy intro.
Hey, this is Michael Gilbert from Flotsam and Jetsam, and you're watching Heavy Metal Horror.
I am Montag, master of illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always.
Hey, this is Choptop, and this is heavy.
Dreadbull.
Wildcard.
And you are watching and listening to Heavy Metal Horror.
We had the delay on that one. That was good.
Yeah,
that you?
sounds
Is that you, Chap?
fantastic.
We're always out of sync. It's great.
Yeah, that's like the boy band. That's our boy band name.
Out of sync.
Out of sync. Yeah, not too ugly with the big number 2 in the middle.
Too old and out of sync. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Hey, tonight, kiddies, we got a great show. We've got David Sanchez from Havok, fucking Thrash Master is joining us. So, David, welcome to Heavy Metal Horror, man. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm stoked to talk with all of you guys, and it's been a long time since I've seen Mr. Vic Wildcard Stone over here.
I know my
Yeah.
face has not changed. It's a little fatter now.
Yeah, mine is too, but I identify as trans slender, so if you don't then that's actually hateful.
I'm aging
can we use
gracefully.
that?
Can
Yeah,
we
trans
use that?
slender.
You know, I don't know what we
That's
can use
fantastic.
anymore. Someone's going to be offended. I mean, if they're listening, if they've been listening to us for the last year and they haven't been offended, I think we're good.
You're safe.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would explain our subscriber numbers. So we're good.
Hey,
Yeah,
we're
the
good
death
on
threats haven't come yet. But
through
we'll
Unsane
wait.
Radio. We get lots of plays. Just through,
Great.
just YouTube slower and building. Hit the subscribe button, motherfuckers. All right, well, let's get going, David. We're gonna scrap some of these songs because we would like to have it. You can always come back for more. You know, if you
Sure.
can't get enough of us the first time, you're welcome to come back for more.
If you're a
So-
glutton for punishment,
Yeah. So let's just start right off to what attracted you to thrash as a genre.
It's fast and heavy, and it's rebellious. As a young kid, I didn't like being told what to do, and I liked the energy of the fast, heavy, tight stuff. So
Your
I like a
mom's
lot of
so
different
nice,
kinds of metal
though.
and rock, but thrash metal really called to me because of the tightness and the precision and the speed and aggression.
You weren't a rebel, man. Your mom's so sweet. You did what your mom told you to do. Don't lie.
I mean, with the mom, it's different, but at Catholic
I'm just
school,
fucking right. I got you.
Yeah, it
a
always
lot
is,
easier
man.
to
Right,
the
right.
system.
Yeah, I'm a giant disappointment to mine because it didn't turn out the way she wanted. That's okay.
Well, not just to your mom, to everybody. So
Exactly right. Mom's she's just the cherry on top of the big pile. All right, Dave. What bands or artists influence your early musical interest?
Early on, definitely Metallica was a huge influence. Most metal bands can say that. But Metallica, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, Testament, Exodus, Overkill, Death.
Oh, yeah.
ooh, so given that, so we just did a show, myself, Montag, and Choptop. We did a heavy metal slugfest where we pitted Metallica's Master of Puppets versus Megadeth's Rust in Peace. Where do you fall on that? What's the better album? Who wins in a slugfest?
Now let's not give the answers because this is going to be out of order. We're going to do
Oh,
a
good
slugfest
job.
between.
Good job, Dreadbull. Jeez.
No. It's
Oh,
fine.
I'm not going to give any answers. I'm not going to give it away.
We just want from
No, no.
David.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to
just-
get David's
Just
perspective.
caution
Yeah, go ahead,
Dreadbull
Dave.
not to
We
blow
want
his wad.
David's answer, though.
Yeah. Which
I
one?
won't give away our results.
Okay.
They're both amazing records, but I think I would have to go with Master of Puppets just because it's more timeless and the lyrics and the vocals I think are better. Musically, I think they're pretty apples to apples. They're both very, very awesome musically.
All right.
Cool. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I won't spoil it, but it was
Yeah.
a very close matchup.
Yeah,
too.
you'll have to come back and listen to our show, dude. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah. See which
See what we
he'll be
think.
enthralled.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
what are these losers picking? Right. Except for that handsome Montag. I want to know what he's got. to say.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, already
Can
forgot about him.
Dave, can you talk about your own personal evolution as a musician?
Well, I think the biggest evolution of my musicianship has been just me becoming fans of different kinds of music over the years. When I first started the band, I was only listening to, the bands I mentioned and like Black Sabbath and AC/DC and shit like that. But nowadays I listen to a lot of different kinds of stuff. And I think that has largely seeped into the kind of music that I make and really influenced the way that I think of song structures and think of musical phrasing and timing and what is possible as far as different string instruments like doing different things. And whereas in a lot of thrash bands, the bass just plays the guitar, and then the second guitar plays the same thing as the first guitar, and just you have 3 stringed instruments doing the same thing. Where, you know, me listening to a lot of classical music and funk and jazz and gypsy jazz and shit like that has really like opened up my brain as to what is possible, where you got 3 stringed instruments all doing different things at the same time to make this big, massive, harmonious monster.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a fan of gypsy
That's
jazz
cool.
too.
What are some of your favorite non-metal groups or musicians, artists?
Man, I listen to so many different kinds of music, but if we're gonna, I listen to a lot of funk. I think that's probably the number one genre I listen to. Ohio Players would be way up there, and a band that hardly anybody knows. I don't know how this band slipped through the cracks of like what is considered great classic funk, but there's a band called Pleasure, and they sound like Earth, Wind, and Fire if Earth, Wind, and Fire was like dirtier and funkier.
Oh, nice.
The bass player is absolutely insane, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how the fuck this band like slipped through the cracks, because they should be very well known.
That's one to
Oh,
check
that's
out.
one. Yeah, I'm gonna write
Yeah.
that down.
Get that down. We're,
Sure.
yeah, we're fans of funk too, though. That's
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
Pleasure. Check out the song Glide. If you're gonna check them out, that would be the song to be a good intro to how sick their bass player is.
Nice.
Cool deal.
Well, since you have so many different influences, who are some of your musical heroes, would you say?
Musical heroes: Hetfield, Mustaine, Chuck Schuldiner, Eric Peterson, Gary Holt, Dave Lombardo. I'm not a drummer, I play guitar, but like that dude's one of the sickest musicians in metal, period,
Mhm.
regardless of instrument.
Yeah, he brings a lot of those great like syncopated rhythms and stuff when he did with Grip Inc. and his
I
other
love
musical
Grip Inc.
interests. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
one of my
band.
favorite bands. So yeah, like Gus Chambers, the vocalist of Grip Inc., one of my
Mhm.
favorite singers.
Yeah, we were thrilled.
vocally-
Lombardo. Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, vocally, I'm a big fan of Old Testament, like when Chuck Billy screams and does the high stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he sounds like somebody's going through a paper shredder. He doesn't really do that stuff anymore, but back in the day, that high pitched, blood curdling scream vocal, that's a huge influence on me. Same with that similar kind of style with Zetro from Exodus and Tom Araya from Slayer. Bobby Blitz Ellsworth from Overkill. Those are all pretty influential.
I always thought you had like a Sacrifice vibe. Your vocals always reminded me of Sacrifice for some reason.
I've never even heard that band, so
No shit, the Canadian thrash band. Yeah, dude, I always got that vibe from your vocals.
yeah. There's been quite a few people that have told me you remind me of this vocalist
Right.
of whatever band, and it's like I don't know who that band is, so it just happened accidentally, I guess. But I'm also a big fan of bands like Mr. Bungle and Oingo Boingo, and Primus. I like some pretty fucking weird, atonal, irregular bands.
Yeah, they push those boundaries of what's possible, you know, and really get you thinking in ways that you couldn't. And Primus is a great example of that. You got that funk, you got that heavy, you know, that heavy sound, and then it's got this crazy instrumentation with these wild, you know, odd guitar soloing. You know, it's
Larry
a great-
Lalonde's guitar playing in Primus is one of the coolest things ever to me, because that dude plays guitar like nobody else. I don't think anybody else can replicate what he does. He plays such a fucking bizarre style that you don't hear anywhere else.
Yeah,
Larry Lalonde is a special character. He's a badass.
excellent.
I always thought Faith No More was another band in that sort of realm that did kind of a really interesting, unusual stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I like Faith No More a lot.
You had mentioned all these rock heroes. Have you been able to meet any of them? And if so, what was that like?
Yeah, I've met a bunch of them. When I was like 15, I met Metallica. I was such a dork. Like I didn't know. I like froze up. I was so starstruck. I didn't like really know what to say to them or didn't have any good questions to ask them. I was just a nervous kid with like sweaty hands. I go, nice to meet you, Mr. Hetfield, sir.
They probably get that a lot, you know?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah. I wish I could meet them again, like nowadays, because nowadays I realize that at one point all these people were shitting their pants and sucking on a titty, like all cut from the same cloth. You know, they're just people.
One of them was last week. We can't tell if it was sucking a titty or shitting their pants. They might have been doing both. Right. That's great. That's great.
But yeah, I've met a bunch of them. We've toured with a bunch of them too. I mean, we've toured with Anthrax, Megadeth, Sepultura, Suicidal Tendencies. We played shows with Slayer, and just it's insane. We've done a lot of really cool stuff.
Did that like completely fuck with your head a little bit, like thinking, Jesus Christ, we're on the road with Slayer? Or, you know?
Well, we never toured with Slayer, but we played a lot of festivals with them.
Oh, okay.
Like in Europe.
Mhm.
And yeah, it is mind blowing because even though I do this and shit, I'm still a fan. And yeah, it's just what we've been able to do and execute as a band is still blows my mind. Like when I actually sit and think about it, like the stuff that we've been able to accomplish is pretty insane.
Was
Yeah.
there ever a particular point when you like when it kind of hit you like, holy shit, you know, this is happening, like we're making it as a band, like this is for real?
So the biggest, I mean, this was even before we went out with Megadeth. Yeah, we played a show in Bogota, Colombia, and we played a festival, and we were on like pretty high up on the bill. It was our first time ever in South America, and we were all kind of like, that's weird. Like, why are we so high on this thing? And we played out there, and we played in front of like 35,000 people. And that was the first time where all of us were like, holy shit, like this is crazy. Look at what we're doing. I got super nervous. I normally don't get really nervous before shows, but that one I was extremely nervous. It came out in the form of a lot of profanity in between songs. I cursed a lot more than normal. And before it, to like deal with the nerves, I was drinking a lot of water, thinking like, oh, this will be good. I'll be hydrated on stage. And then we got on stage and I was so full of water. It was like hard to sing. I really fucked up. So ever since then, I'm very conscious, like drink some water, but not too much.
Now, David, along the same lines of the live situation, could you get, because I mean, I've watched some live videos recently, you guys and stuff, and you guys are so tight and just precise. And your guys have amazing live sound. But is there any shows that you felt were like, give us an example, maybe one of your best shows and maybe a show of maybe one of your worst experiences on stage?
I think one of the best shows we ever played was in Copenhagen, Denmark. We played a festival called Copenhell. And we had like vehicle issues before that. We had to like rent shit. We had to like drive in between different countries to like get the gear, pick up a vehicle here, go back, grab the, like, it was a fucking shit show to get to this thing. But we made it to the show, and like all of that frustration came out in the set. We were all pumped up and ready to play, and we just let loose, and the crowd, the energy was insane, and I think we crushed pretty good at that show. That's the first one that comes to mind where we played an excellent show. But playing bad shows, yeah, there's been sometimes we will play with a click, sometimes we will play without a click, with a metronome. And there was one time we were playing a show in Colorado here, and something happened where between sound check and when we played, something got like patched wrong in the inputs. So something got all fucked up, and the click that we're only supposed to hear in our ears was going through the fucking PA system.
Oh, no.
And we couldn't hear it. And it was a fucking nightmare. So like one song like completely derailed, and we were like, okay, no more click. We're just gonna rock and roll the rest of this show, which we do quite a lot. But with some songs, we have like an intro or something. There's like an audio sample for the beginning, and it's nice to let that play through the PA. And then instead of us having to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and start the song, we just get a little thing in our ears that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and we all can just start on a dime. And
Nice.
you know, it's nice for intros and shit like that. But yeah, that was a fucking nightmare. So double checking that the patch is correct before playing it is a good idea. If you're sound checking early in the day, you got to play later. Double check everything's where it's supposed to be.
Do you
True.
when you're out playing, do you prefer the smaller venues, you know, for a fan's point of view, when you could get out there and make contact with someone and touch them, make eye contact? That's really special. But do you prefer the smaller venues or playing in front of those huge festival crowds?
I honestly prefer the smaller places where it's up close and personal. You know, I like being able to bang my head and sweat all over people. That's fun. There's something special about the energy when it's so compact like that versus some of these festivals. You're playing on a stage and then there's 20 feet until the barrier. And that's where the first row of people is. And it's just strange being that far away from the people you're performing for. I grew up going to like DIY punk rock like warehouse shows where it was like BYOB and there's fucking 14-year-old kids all drunk passed out in the back, and like that's the kind of shows I used to go to. And so
You were picking their pockets.
What's that?
You were picking their pockets. Those drunk, passed out 14-year-old kids. I got more beer money.
No, I didn't fuck with them, but those are the kinds of shows I used to go to. So I kind of grew up in that like DIY underground, I guess you would say, more punk rock style venues. That's where I used to go to shows and shit. You know, when I turned 16, I got a car and my mom told me, you can go to concerts, but you have to go to school the next day and you have to keep your grades up. And I was like, all right, done. I can do that.
That's fair.
So my mom was really cool. She didn't give a fuck if I went out on a Monday night to a concert and was out until midnight. She didn't care. As long as I still woke up at 6:30, went to school and kept my grades up, she didn't care. So very grateful for that, because
Yeah,
that
that's
allowed
awesome.
me to see a lot of cool bands that I would have never been exposed to otherwise.
Right.
That's cool. Well, speaking of shows, you know, when you're on the road, how do you prepare for a show? Like, do you have any rituals or anything that you do?
Stretching is one of the main ones. There's really only 2 rituals. Stretching is one, and one of them is I put my palms together and raise my elbows, stretch out the wrist that way. And then the other one is the opposite, where you put the backs of your hands together and then you push your elbows down. And this one looks really dumb. You look like you're
Praying
trying
mantis.
to imitate a praying mantis or something. People always look at me weird when I'm walking around pacing in the green room like this. It looks very dorky, but it stretches out these muscles on the tops of your wrist big time, and that helps a lot. Other than that, stretching out the neck, you like if you lean into a part, you know, lean your head to the left, and you take all these muscles here and you hold them down really tight, and then you pull away, and it stretches out all of these neck muscles. And a doctor actually showed this to me. I've never done these neck stretches before and then played a show and then had my neck screwed up. The only time my neck has ever like gotten tweaked on tour was when I forgot to stretch it out like this. So the neck stretching, the wrist stretching, and then warming up my voice is very helpful. I can't always do it, but I do it whenever I can. I'll go in the green room or even do a bathroom if there's not a green room at the venue. I've gone into bathrooms and there's a guy taking a dump and I'm in the like, whoa!
Work it out, buddy. Yeah.
That's it. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just warming up my voice, even for like 30 seconds, makes it to where when we go and play the first song, it's like we're in the second song. My voice is already a little bit warm. That makes a huge difference. Even 30 seconds. is
Mhm.
better than nothing. Because going on stage and singing full volume and like, going at it balls to the wall with no warm up is dangerous. You can fuck your throat up and
Right.
lose your voice.
Mhm. Well, how do you take care of your voice when you're on the road? I mean, you're doing all this intense singing over time. It's got to wear on you. So, what is there anything that you do to kind of maintain that throughout a tour?
Try to stay very hydrated. If I feel like, don't drink too much alcohol. Alcohol really dries out your throat. I find that coconut water helps a lot. There's a lot of decaffeinated teas, like Throat Coat is one that a lot of singers swear by. And drinking warm stuff with honey or coconut water or eating bananas helps a lot too. But yeah, trying to not eat a crazy shitty diet is helpful. And that's really about it. Just try to not get sick too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the quirkiest thing you have in your rider?
Quirkiest thing we have in
Yeah.
the
Everything cool? Or you getting
At one
bunches of
point-
roses like Mariah Carey or something? Like
At one point we had socks, black ankle socks. We wouldn't get them very often, but every once in a while we would get them and you're like, fuck yeah, we have clean socks. on
New
tour."
socks.
I was wondering about the other bands have those kinds of things too. Is it so that you wouldn't have to do laundry as much, or
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah, often it's either the laundry place is too far away or you don't have time to go do it. Because if you had a runner, if you had a tour manager or somebody that could do shit for you, run errands, then great. But most of the time you don't have that, and it's just the people in the band and your crew, and you're working all day. And if you got to do laundry and it's a couple blocks away, like you got to go start it and then come back 45 minutes later and move it over to the dryer and then come back another hour later. And it's a big project. So getting some fresh socks on tour backstage hand delivered is a good thing.
Nice. Can you tell us about your most outrageous Spinal Tap like moment on tour?
Well, that metronome thing that I told you was one of them for sure. That was like so brutal. It felt like getting kicked in the balls by a Clydesdale on stage, which is not how you want to feel when you're on stage performing.
No.
It was super embarrassing, and it was no fault of our own, just shit got mispatched and it just train wrecked the entire set there for a minute. And we were all just so red-faced and like bummed out.
Were you getting funny looks from the audience? Were you getting booed or
Oh
anything?
yeah, even after the show, somebody came up to me and they patted me on the shoulder and they were like, they can't all be good shows. Oh, man.
Ouch.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that was probably that was way up there with the Spinal Tappy stuff.
Nice. All right, I'm going to ask you a hypothetical question here. We got a theoretical issue here. We got an alien invasion. An alien shows up and asks you to represent metal in 3 songs. What would those songs be and why?
Damn, 3 songs to represent metal.
Yes.
Jesus, that's a loaded question.
And the fate of the earth could be at stake here.
Yeah,
so
it's up to you,
be
man.
careful.
All right, I would show them Necrophobic by Slayer because it's one of the fastest songs ever. And I can't even still fathom how they did that. The picking is, they must have been on like meth or something. I've heard that they were like a little, under the
tweaked.
influence. I don't know if that's true or not, but Jesus Christ, that song is fast.
Yeah.
Necrophobic by Slayer would be one of them. Let's see. 2 other ones that would represent metal. Man, it'd have to be like there's got to be an old one in there, like Iron Man. Black Sabbath, something that to us, we've all heard so many times, but to someone who's never heard that, it's probably pretty fucking rad. I remember when I first heard that, I was like, whoa, what is that on his voice? That sounds crazy. And then one other song to represent metal. Jeez. That's hard. I'll say Master of Puppets, because that one actually has clean stuff in it as well, which would show the aliens that metal is not always distorted guitars.
All right, excellent. Are you a horror movie fan?
I like some of those.
All right, can you tell us some of your favorite horror movies?
Some of my favorites. Well, it's less of a horror movie, more like sci-fi and almost a documentary at this point, but They Live by John Carpenter.
Oh yeah.
Definitely one of my favorites. The Thing by John Carpenter is one of my favorites as well. You know, the most recent horror movie that I saw that I really liked and was actually pretty legitimately scary was Hereditary. I thought that was an excellent movie. But as far as like, old horror movies, I really like The Thing, They Live. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this movie. It's fairly new. It's called Green Room.
No.
Any of you guys seen this?
Been meaning to watch that. It's got Patrick Stewart in it, right?
Yeah. You should watch that movie. It's not like a classic kind of horror movie. It's real life type of situations, which makes it even scarier. This stuff could actually happen. But suffice it to say, it has neo-Nazis doing things that neo-Nazis do to people, and it's real fucked up. And it has a band, like the whole movie revolves around a punk rock band that's on tour.
Okay.
All right, I'll add to the list. Green Room. All right. What one song do you wish you'd written and recorded instead of the artist who did?
Well, if I had written and recorded it, it may not have been as successful as it was with the other artist. So this would not be something pertaining to success, commercial success, and money and stuff. This is just like hypothetical ego stuff, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good thing.
Okay. I really wish that I would have written the riffage in Angel of Death, the Slayer song.
Mhm.
Like the middle section, the bridge section of that song has some of the coolest
Oh.
fucking riffs ever in any.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
I wish I
Yeah.
wrote that.
Yeah, that kind of half speed tempo. Yeah, it's killer. That's great.
We've all mimicked that riff. Every one of us has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've all blown speakers out in our cars listening to that damn song.
Yeah.
man.
Right.
No doubt
right.
about
Car wrecks, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. What one creative endeavor are you most proud of?
I would say our last record, V, the last Havok album, V, is the thing I'm the most proud of that we've ever made.
Super fucking heavy, man.
it. Mhm.
Yeah, it's heavy, and I got a lot of stuff out that I wanted to say in the lyrics. So
Excellent.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to do this. We got this thing called Blast Beats, where I'm going to ask you a series of choices. You're just going to answer them real quickly. We're just going to work our way through them as quickly as possible.
okay,
All right. Yeah. About a dozen of these or so. Okay. Hot dog or hamburger?
hamburger,
Favorite pizza topping?
sausage,
Favorite holiday?
Halloween,
Favorite ice cream flavor?
chocolate,
Dog or cat?
dog,
Marvel or DC?
Marvel. I don't like Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Some love bias.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
They're both very cool, but I'm more familiar with Star Wars.
All right. How do you like your steak cooked?
Medium.
Your favorite movie snack?
Popcorn's classic.
Classic. Baseball or football?
Baseball.
Your favorite subject in school?
Music.
Your least favorite subject in school?
Algebra.
Just a few more. Your worst phobia?
Talking to you.
Nice. I know
Amen to that.
I'm rather intimidating. I get it. Your favorite Christmas gift?
A guitar.
Your celebrity crush other than Montag?
Kate Beckinsale.
All right. And the last one, the best concert you've ever attended?
Oh man. Damn, dude. I've seen some really cool shows, but pound for pound, like lineup wise, I think maybe the coolest show I've ever seen was Motorhead opening, then Dio, and then Iron Maiden.
We've all
Yeah.
seen that show.
We
We
were
all
at-
went
yeah.
to that show.
We've been to that show. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good show, man.
Yeah, when Motorhead is opening, you know it's going to be a good show.
Yeah. It was great. Excellent. Excellent.
Wow, that's wild.
Should we do the hot seat, gentlemen?
Go
I
ahead.
think
Put him
it's
on the
time.
hot seat.
Yeah. Because we're condensed. We're kind of skipping around. I know we got only an hour, so we're going right to the good stuff here.
Yeah,
This
if we go a little over, it's not a big deal.
Okay. Well, that's cool, man. Thanks.
You just let us know when you got a bail. And we'll wrap it up.
We'll definitely wrap things up.
Sounds
This is called the hot seat. I'm going to name a band, and you're going to tell me your favorite album by that band. And
Okay.
we call it the hot seat because everyone that seems to squirm at one time or another, they're like, "Oh fuck, I don't know that band," or they don't like it. And they're afraid, like, "Oh, I don't like that band." Like, that's cool. We got a really variety of stuff here.
So this is like the poser identifier segment.
Maybe that's what we'll call it.
No, don't
No,
worry about
it's
that.
it's just ranging, man. What you like, what you don't like, we're all cool with that.
Yep.
We didn't
So
realize it was-
when you ask these questions to people, is it always the same bands or do you change it up?
Some of them get changed up, but we have a bank of things that I pull from, and mostly it's the same bands. With
Okay.
I pull some out, add a few in, but
Sure.
there's a bank of questions, and we usually just pull from those.
Sounds good.
So, all right, first one, Black Sabbath.
Sabotage.
All right, Judas Priest.
Painkiller.
Halloween.
No idea.
Okay, Rush.
Moving pictures.
Iron Maiden.
Power Slave.
Testament.
That's hard. They have a lot of good records.
Mhm.
that is a toughie.
I'll say the first one, The Legacy.
Queensryche.
Mindcrime.
Anthrax.
Probably Among the Living.
All right, just a few more. Megadeth.
Super Collider. Just kidding.
Thank God.
Favorite Megadeth record? Probably. Shit. It would either be Peace Sells or Rust in Peace. That's really hard. Tie between those.
All right, Slayer.
Rain and Blood. South of Heaven. It's a tie between those.
Okay, Kiss.
I don't know. To be honest, most of my Kiss familiarity is from skipping around all over the place. I haven't listened to too many Kiss records start to finish. But a lot of the old 70s stuff is great. So I don't know. Dress to Kill.
All right, yeah, it's got some good tracks on
That's
it.
the one.
It's got some
That's
good-
the one.
yeah, it's got "Come On and Love Me." Great lyrics
Oh,
on
yeah.
that one. Okay, just two more. Alice in Chains.
Dirt.
And Havok.
I'm unfamiliar. I would have to say V.
Okay.
It's my favorite record we made.
Nice. Excellent. Excellent. Thanks. When go ahead. Dreadbull, do you want to?
I have a non-music question.
Yeah.
This is something I came across prepping for the show. I saw a little interview you did a couple years ago, and you had mentioned an author you're a fan of that I like this guy too. Really interesting, Terrence McKenna.
Oh yeah, I love Terrence McKenna.
Yeah. For anybody that doesn't know, this guy, I think he goes back into the 60s, doesn't he? At least the 70s. Did a lot of experimentation in LSD and all this psychotropic drugs, wrote a lot of books. He's like Mr. Rogers of the LSD world. And
yeah, more psilocybin. But he
Yeah.
was an expert in a lot of that stuff, but he was really into the plant-based or natural stuff. So psilocybin, ayahuasca, iboga, DMT. He was way into all of that stuff, and
Yeah.
he's the most knowledgeable and like coolest dude that I'm aware of in that whole world.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the Art Bell show back in the day, back in the 90s, and he was a
Yeah.
frequent guest on that show. And I always loved those episodes. That guy, I mean, I think he was the one that came up with the idea of like humans had an evolutionary boost when they discovered like psychotropic plants and mushrooms, and this is
Yeah,
kind of what gave us a evolutionary boost.
yeah, he's the
early
one
on.
that posited and like made famous the stoned ape theory, as they call it. You know, that maybe were the result of apes that feasted on psychedelic mushrooms, and that's how we got so smart so quick.
That's a pretty cool idea. So you don't have to answer this, but have you ever experimented in those realms before yourself?
I have no idea what you're talking about, sir.
Okay, fair enough.
I neither confirm nor deny.
I
No
can
comment.
neither confirm nor deny the use of any illegal substances. However, I would say that some things are really good for your brain and really good for your health.
You must be talking about water.
You're
the
keeping
water that's in
hydrated.
there.
Yeah,
Staying
Yeah,
hydrated.
staying hydrated.
With
Very
Hydro
good
Flask.
beer.
It's as metal
Yeah,
as
some
we
of
are.
these things, no, I think they're very good for you. They're people. Let's be real. People have been eating psychedelic mushrooms since before they figured out how to light stuff on fire and smoke it, and since before they figured out how to make alcohol and drink it.
True.
So this is like a natural human birthright that's been taken away from us just in the last 100 years.
Right.
It's been widely known about and accepted and used for hundreds of thousands of years, probably. And just in the last century, they were like, no, that piece of nature is illegal. You can't do that. But here's some alcohol. And not only will we let you do this alcohol, but we're going to encourage you to do it.
I like doing the alcohol.
I mean, a lot of people do. Alcohol is a drug. I think that all drugs should be legal. So, non-music related. Yeah, I think psilocybin, mushrooms, and all of these substances should be absolutely legalized, because who am I or who is anybody to say that the dude that gets drunk and beats his kids is totally
Right.
fine, but the guy that likes to trip out and eat mushrooms and go on a hike in the woods, he should be locked in a cage.
He's scary. Now, Denver, was it Denver specifically or Colorado recently changed? There was legislation for psilocybin, correct? Something.
Denver decriminalized psilocybin, but
Okay.
I think that Oregon, as an entire state, I think they decriminalized like
Everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction.
Right. You're not going to help
Well-
people by locking them up.
No, for sure. And half of the people that are locked up in our country right now, I mean, we got the biggest prison population in the
Right.
entire world, bigger than China. And people think China is like so authoritarian. We have more prisoners than they do and way less people. But more than half, it's about half of the people that are locked up right now are in there for non-violent drug offenses. These are people that got caught with drugs on them. They didn't kill anybody. They didn't stab anyone. They didn't kidnap anybody. They didn't steal a car. They didn't do any of this shit. They just had drugs in their pocket, and they're sitting next to murderers and rapists.
And
Right.
those drug laws and the penalties for those it's just so skewed. It's horrible. You
Yeah,
know,
it
no
is.
one should get a 125-year sentence for having a pound of pot. You know, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
Well, God
it-
forbid you expand your mind in any way by taking a drug of some sort. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's the number one reason that that psilocybin and the like are illegal, because it's a good illusion breaker.
Yeah. I haven't had the occasion to do it myself to try those, but I find it absolutely fascinating. You know, I
You're a
probably would.
liar, Dreadbull.
No,
Big
really.
old liar.
He did have
But,
some edibles.
You know, Joe
Finally
Rogan
got
famously
high.
talks about DMT all the time, and you know, some of his guests talk about these crazy trips. I think some of those DMT trips are absolutely wild, and some of the similarities between different people, you know, kind of go into this same realm and stuff. I think it's fascinating. You know,
Yeah, and that realm is actually very similar to what people describe when they have a near death or a death experience.
yeah,
They
yeah,
die on
exactly.
the operating table, or they have a near death experience, and they say they leave their body. And you
Mm-hmm.
listen to those people's stories, and someone who went on a DMT trip, and it's virtually the exact same thing. And it's theorized that when you are dying, your brain produces a ton of DMT, and you basically trip balls.
Mhm.
So maybe that is essentially the same sensation, going on a DMT trip and dying. It might be very, very much the same.
Yeah, it's crazy that a drug our body produces naturally is illegal.
It's illegal
to
if you don't make it in your own skull, then it's illegal. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Install a tap. It just whoop.
So anyway, I know that was a tangent, but I thought that was interesting that you brought that up. And yeah, I've read that guy's book too. Terrence McKenna is a fascinating guy.
Yeah, Food of the Gods. That book is one of my
Mhm.
favorite books I've ever read. Terrence McKenna, Food of the
I
Gods.
think there's
Yep.
a Netflix series about that too, or somewhere I saw it because we were watching that, and it was about the same thing. And-
Fantastic Fungi.
There it
Yep,
is.
there's the
yeah,
book. Fantastic Fungi is on Netflix. That's
that's
fantastic
amazing.
documentary.
that is amazing to see how everything's connected underneath the surface, and how this stuff connects like the entire, you know, flora is all
Mhm.
connected through fungi and through.
Welcome to heavy metal science.
Yes. Yeah, it was pretty astonishing. It was just amazing.
Yeah, highly recommend that one as well. That's a really good doc.
hmm
What else you
Right.
watching on Netflix?
I don't know. I don't really watch Netflix that much. I throw on YouTube more often.
Really? What do you
Or
watch on
BitChute
YouTube?
Are you watching heavy metal horror on YouTube or?
Hit the subscribe button.
You could be our 100th subscriber.
Yeah.
Join now.
You're
Yeah,
lucky
man.
winner.
I will do that.
Nice.
Netflix wise, the most recent thing I watched was a cartoon actually called Inside Job. It's pretty
How
interesting.
is that? Is it good?
It's actually pretty funny and well written, and I'm kind of shocked how much stuff they actually discuss there, because the whole basis of the show is like these people are running the deep state, and every conspiracy theory you could possibly think of they have like in their documents and under lock and key, and it's the shadow government basically.
Okay.
It's a cartoon about the shadow government, and they drop a lot of bombs in there where I'm like, holy shit, they're actually talking about this. But part of me thinks that maybe the reason that they're allowed to get away with doing that is because then it looks stupid.
Right.
Oh, I saw that in a cartoon, whatever.
You're probably exactly right. It's like
Yeah,
South
like-
Park, they get away with all that shit because they're a cartoon,
Yeah, parody. It's under parody, right? Or satire,
Sure.
rather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that cartoon's good though. You should check it out. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I've been planning on it.
Yeah, same here.
That's cool. Excellent. Well, other than not watching that, are you watching YouTube? Do you have any other kind of hobbies that you like to enjoy when you're not on the road?
I like hiking. I like cooking. I like going on road trips, hanging out with my dogs. I'm going to I'm trying to grow some jalapenos this summer.
Nice.
When the food shortages happen, come to my house if you want your tongue to hurt.
If you want some, some hot peppers.
You want your tongue to hurt.
Hey, I do the same. I've got I got about a dozen jars in there right now in my pantry.
Yeah.
I
We'll
grow my
give
own
you a
here.
call. Dave, we're on our way. Hope you got all those
That's right.
jalapenos ready. We're stocking up the van, motherfuckers. We're going on.
That's right. What's your favorite food to cook?
Oh man, that's a good question. Favorite food to cook? Well, I really like making stuff on the grill. I like grilling up steaks or chicken wings, but I also like making fried rice.
Not on the grill though.
Not on the grill. Fried rice.
That's hard, man. That rice just goes right through, man.
Tough to grill rice.
Yes. Got the tiny
Only way to
little
get them
grills.
lines. Yeah, that's the only way to get the lines.
That's right. That micro grill, you know.
Gotta get those griddle marks on the piece of it.
Yeah. What celebrity would you most like to have a drink with? I mean, you've met a whole lot of people, so this is almost maybe a stupid question because you've met so many fucking cool people. But is there someone like on your bucket list that, yeah, I want to meet this person, have a drink, or something like that? Doesn't have to be in music; it could be anything, TV, movies.
Dead or alive?
Yeah, sure.
Interesting. Well, let's just keep it alive because then there's too many to go for.
Okay.
People that are alive that I'd really like to sit down and hang out with for a minute.
Kate Beckinsale, we already know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your celebrity crush, right?
My girlfriend's gonna love this part.
Yeah.
I would really like to sit down and have a drink with probably someone like Joe Rogan, because that dude has the biggest voice in the world right now, and he literally can change the world by speaking up about something specific. I would like to pick his brain and be like, hey, why don't you talk about like how the Federal Reserve is a private organization?
He would too. There's nothing off limits for that guy.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to pick his brain about something like that. Like, yo, if you told everyone to not pay their taxes one year, I bet you could get 100 million people to not do it. And then the government wouldn't even be able to pay cops to come and arrest you.
That guy's got the most powerful show out there right now, I think.
Yes. Oh,
That's
absolutely he does, by a long
Yeah.
shot. So that would be the dude I'd want to like sit there and have a beer with for 20 minutes.
That's cool.
Excellent.
Well,
What
if you
would you-
tell him you've tried DMT, he'll bring you on the show because he loves to hear the story. So get a hold of him. You're a
Yeah.
shoe-in.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. Yeah, just he's got a huge platform, but also I think he's really funny.
Mhm.
He's one of my favorite comics. I started digging his stand-up before I ever listened to his podcast. He had a couple old records like Shiny Happy Jihad, I think is one of them, and the other one's like Talking Monkeys in Outer Space, something like that. Those comedy records made me really a fan of him, and then I discovered his podcast.
Yeah, I didn't become a fan until I started watching UFC, and his UFC commentary is so damn good, man. That guy
That's where I first
is
saw him.
So
I didn't know-
knowledgeable.
yeah.
He really made me appreciate the sport more, and then kind of evolved out from there. But yeah, his show's fantastic.
I don't know how he does everything that he does. Like him and Elon Musk and people like that. Like, how the fuck do you squeeze all of that shit into your life and have a family and kids and stuff? It's insane.
Yeah, that's mind-boggling.
Now, David, you were start of the I guess, the new wave, let's say, of American thrash metal movement. You guys were kind of at the forefront when this all began. Really, it's been going on like a couple decades. What do you see the difference between the scene back then and for now? And where do you feel you fit in amongst your peers there? Because there's so many great bands in this scene, just too many to even mention. And of course, you guys are amongst them. But how do you feel you guys fit in now? And what's the difference between then and now as far as the scene?
Scene wise, I think then and now is like the biggest difference is there was a lot of ones that were sprouting up that were brand new, and nowadays there's a lot that stood the test of time, and the majority just went away. They don't exist anymore. So that would be, I think, the biggest difference between then and now. But Havok was one of the first bands at the time that was playing this kind of music as it started to like kind of get a little more popular. We were like at the beginning of it, when we first started, Evile was like the only other band I could find that sounded kind of like us, like very early on. Municipal Waste was around and Toxic Holocaust was around, but other than that, like I couldn't really find any other bands doing a similar sound to what we were doing. And as we, started getting our feet off of the ground or whatever and making this thing take off, a lot more bands started popping up. And way back early on, I remember that some of these other bands that came up after we did started getting like record deals and going on big tours and stuff. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, we've been here this whole time. But I very quickly learned to not get like bent out of shape about that kind of stuff. I don't get jealous of other bands doing great stuff. I like seeing it happen. Because every time I see somebody else doing something awesome, I'm like, well, we do cool shit too that they didn't get. So, what, I shouldn't get bummed about that. Oh, we didn't get this tour. Some other band got it. Who cares? We do cool shit too, Yeah. But I would say that in our genre, I think, and not to toot my own horn, but I think it's indisputable that we would be like one of the top bands in that circle.
Thank you.
Have other musicians reached out to you and told you how much your music has influenced them? And if so, how does that make you feel?
Well, yeah, we get people writing to us all the time, especially like younger kids that are just starting out. They're like, yeah, Havok's a big influence. And I think that's fucking awesome because at one point I was that kid who was influenced by bands that were 10, 15 years older than me. And the fact that anything that I helped create can inspire some other kid to go out and start a band who may wind up being way better than my band and way bigger than my band. That's cool. Just music in general, we need more of it because it's, I hate to say this, but in some ways it is almost like a dying art. Nowadays, so much stuff is computers and, just like ripping samples off of other people's creations.
You don't like Kid Rock?
What's that?
You don't like Kid Rock?
I'm not a huge Kid Rock fan, but some of his stances on things that are happening in the world today, I totally agree with him on.
I like the barbecue. That's about all I got.
I do like his attitude about a lot of things. He just does whatever he wants.
Right.
Whatever he wants and doesn't care if people like it or not. I respect that. But yeah, I think music is somewhat of a dying art because kids, I've literally heard younger kids say like, why would anyone even play guitar anymore? That's dumb. That's so stupid. Like they would rather hit some buttons on a MIDI keyboard or
right.
on a sequencer pad or whatever and make a rap song. They think that playing guitar, playing drums, playing a piano is stupid. And it's sickening, but it's real.
It actually takes practice and it's hard work. Yeah. I mean, that's why they don't want to do it with short attention spans that all these kids have nowadays. And
damn kids.
It can be auto-tuned.
They want that instant gratification. So yeah, whatever makes it easiest. And yeah, they don't want to put in the time and effort and hours for practicing and stuff when it comes to things like guitar and whatnot.
Yeah, playing a guitar, playing bass, playing drums, playing piano, violin, cello, tuba, whatever. That shit takes a lot of time and effort to get it down to a level where someone could hear you doing it and go like, wow, you're pretty good at that. Getting to a level of competence with any instrument, it takes a lot of time and dedication. It doesn't just come to you. I think maybe percussion does because that's so tied into all of our DNA, hitting things in rhythm. That makes a little more sense. Someone who's never played a drum set before that pats on their legs sometimes might be able to get on a drum set and play a simple beat. But when you're talking about playing like, a Beethoven piece on a violin, like you really need to bust your ass for a long time to be able to pull that off and make it presentable.
Right.
and I have a ton of respect for anyone that does it. And like you were asking, circling back to that, if anything that I ever did inspired a kid to pick up an instrument and start learning it, that's really, really cool.
Awesome. That's great, man. You know, we've all talked about how we're fans of other artists. What is your favorite piece of memorabilia that you've picked up over the years?
It's a really good question. I've not ever thought about. Like memorabilia. Oh, this is one of my favorite things, actually.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bart Simpson don't have a cow, man.
I think he says it. There you go.
All right.
Yeah, this is a good piece of history. I love old Simpsons, and I think my mom found this at a garage sale and bought it and brought it home, gave it to me. This is pretty awesome.
Nice.
This is not
That's
really
cool.
music related though.
That's cool. No, that's
However,
fine, man.
I am
All
a
right.
huge Danny Elfman fan, and the score for The Simpsons is incredible.
Yeah, anything he touches, man, it's identifiable. You know, it's him, like from the get-go. You hear it, you know. It's like Mark Mothersbaugh, you know, or yeah, you just hear it, you know it.
Yep.
Oh, all right, man. The last formal question we're going to ask you is, what are your plans for this year? I mean, you're going to do music. You just got a new album out. Are you going to be doing a tour? Anything else? Something else?
Well, we currently don't have a bass player, which is like always the case with us.
Vic is available to play bass for you, man.
He knows.
We got a revolving door. Do you want to play bass for a tour?
I can totally hold down the low E string, man. You know, you know how I do.
I can
You
play
know,
E. Yeah.
It's funny you joke about that, but let's be real. That is one of the coolest things that you can do on any instrument, on a guitar or a bass. You just start chugging the low E. It sounds fucking awesome. It never gets old. Any band could do that. Like it's such a powerful, simple thing. But you've got
The Michael Anthony.
and
Yeah.
you got like yes.
Yeah.
There's power in there. But no, I think we're gonna probably learn some other people's music and learn some cover songs and record those, maybe slap those out there.
Nice.
Cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
You gotta do
Oh,
Johnny. You
yeah,
gotta
no,
do Johnny Bravo.
Momentary elaboration on that, because I've heard that response before, and it was up in the air if there was going to be any surprises. Are we doing surprises on this?
Yeah, I wanted. We've talked about this before in the band. We want to cover a bunch of stuff that people would not expect us to play. I want to cover shit like CCR and
I was just gonna say that.
and
That's hilarious.
Thin Lizzy and Oingo Boingo and just shit that people would not expect us to
Some
play.
funk.
I want to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Take a lot of classic rock songs and metalize them.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, you got to do the Johnny Bravo, you know, the Greg Brady, you know, clowns never left before. you gotta, you know, there's at least think about it. Work it into the mix. Hey, before you we let you go, could we ask you to do a bumper for us? You know, this is David Sanchez of Havok, and you're watching and listening to heavy metal horror or something cool like that.
Yeah, of course.
All right, cool. Whenever you are ready.
Howdy, this is David Sanchez, and you are listening to and or watching Heavy Metal Horror.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Thanks. Listen, David, we know you got to go. We crammed as many questions as we could get into this hour, and we just want to thank you for spending some time with us. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
And
When's
thanks,
this
man.
thing going to air?
In a few weeks, I'll send you links. Are you on social media at all?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Would you mind if we did it as a swapcast and I took the video and posted it on my platform as well?
Not at all. I will send
That'd be
you. I can send you. Yeah, we'll talk. What do you need from us? Like, what do you need from me? The actual video when it's all done, like the MP4.
Yeah, when it's all done, chopped up or whatever, just send me the video. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll after the show, we'll connect. I'll get your email address. We'll connect in the social media, and I'll put it in a Dropbox for you. That's
Okay.
fine. And I'll also send you links to the actual show when it's done, and that way you can share those too. But yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank
we're
you.
going to do our commercial, and then when we do our heavy metal horror outro, we're going to welcome you. You can bring up your horns. You can join right in with us.
Sure.
All right. So, hey, you can find Heavy Metal Horror on unsaneradio.com, listen to full episodes, or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast, on Instagram, Dreadbull, Instagram.
Oh, we're on Instagram. Cool.
Yeah. Look for Montag Lewis, one word. Our YouTube page, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. If you're watching, that's where you're at. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you know someone who would like us, tell them about us. This has been Montag, Master of Illusion.
And Choptop.
Dreadbull.
Wildcard.
And you've been watching and listening to Time for the Horns. Heavy metal horror.
Little tiny horns.
Nice. Baby horns.
Too sweet.
Nice. Oh, man.
Someday I'm gonna get an audience of like 30,000 people to do this.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.